joined again by Gordon Levinson from Levinson Law Group. That's levinsonlawgroup.com, personal injury attorney. I mean, if you've ever been involved in an accident that was caused by a negligent driver, and we'll talk about what is a negligent driver, this is the guy you want on your side. 98% success rate, getting those settlements for you and your family. You know, Gordon has successfully represented more than 3,000 people and appeared in more than 30 county superior courts, 3 federal district courts, 3 state courts of appeal, and the state Supreme Court. He's won more than $25 million for his clients over the years, and he's an accomplished trial attorney, and he's dedicated to advancing the best interests of his clients. For years, Gordon represented the largest insurance companies in North America, and now he's putting all that insider knowledge and experience on your side. Gordon, welcome.
Oh, thanks, Mark.
Great. Let me ask you a question. What kind of cases does Levinson Law Group work on?
The Levinson Law Group focuses on personal injury and wrongful death cases. So, has a loved one been tragically killed in a vehicle collision? Were you involved in a high-speed or high-impact collision that wasn't your fault? Do you now suffer from broken bones, a ligament injury, nerve-based pain, post-concussion syndrome, or a brain injury? Are your injuries disrupting your life? Are the injuries causing problems at work? Is your car incurring unnecessary storage fees at a tow yard? Are you getting the runaround from an insurance company? Are you lying awake in bed at night wondering who's going to pay for all this? If these are your issues and you've been injured in a high-speed, high-impact auto collision, give us a call. You may have a case.
Yeah, if that sounds like a story you have or something that you're experiencing, you got to go to levinsonlawgroup.com and check us out. That's levinsonlawgroup.com. Gordon, if you've been in a car accident, it wasn't your fault. What steps should you take? What's the first thing to do?
Well, the 2 most important things would be to, 1, seek immediate medical attention. The second thing would be to retain legal counsel. If you're in a crash and you're up there on the roadway, if you're not disabled right there on the spot, immediately do the following. 1, get to a place of safety. Call the police, call for an ambulance, call for roadside assistance, and then the next steps are important information gathering. So, for instance, if it's possible, exchange information with the other driver if it's safe to do so. Take pictures. Most people nowadays have smartphones, so everybody can get out their iPhone and take pictures. Pictures of your car, the damage to your car, the damage to the other car, the crash scene itself, the roadway. Are there skid marks? No skid marks. Shoot pictures of that. Take pictures of the other guy's driver's license, his registration, his license plate, his insurance card. These are the kinds of things you do that right there and then on the scene. You'll be glad you did. And if you don't do it, you might regret not doing it. Something else. Most of the time, they offer an ambulance ride. Most of the time, people start thinking about money. It's expensive. Is my insurance going to cover it? Whatever. Take the ambulance ride. You may be seriously injured. You may have internal bleeding. You don't know. And if you think you can just get yourself to the ER, you might be putting yourself in harm's way because those EMTs on the ambulance, they are equipped with medical expertise and medical equipment. So take the ambulance ride. Don't be a cheapskate. Get to the emergency room.
Absolutely. He brought up a couple of good points. I mean, Herschel was an EMT and working with the fire department and come across all kinds of situations like that, haven't you, Herschel?
Yeah, definitely. It's, constantly lots
Got to make it happen.
Yeah.
And, how many times have we seen a car get in an accident or it's in the middle of the road, they get out, they open their door, they're walking around, checking out the scene rather than just pulling to the side. I mean, that alone can cause is that negligent on the driver?
Well, you bet.
Yeah.
Be smart, be safe, get to a place of safety, and if you can accomplish all that photography and information gathering, do it.
Yeah, you absolutely want to get all that information up front. That's Gordon Levinson with levinsonlawgroup.com, levinsonlawgroup.com. This is the attorney you need on your side.
Now, Gordon, I had a quick question. When you said taking pictures of the insurance card, now your insurance, you have the app, like I have Geico, and I'm able to pull the insurance card up on the app.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see a lot of, is that a trend where people aren't carrying their insurance cards?
Absolutely, but that's more or less for taking stock of your own coverages. A lot of times, what I'm talking about here is the other guy's insurance. So
Gotcha.
He's going to reach into his or her glove, take out that card.
We want to see that he's licensed and insured. You want to take that information so he doesn't switch it in. I mean, anything could happen. There's no question about it. So let me ask you a question. Like another one is when it comes to your legal case, like what are some of the things that you should and shouldn't do? Like if there's somebody listening right now, how do they protect their rights?
You have to understand something. If you're about to make a injury claim, you're about to go to war with an insurance company. It's really quite unfair because most of the times you've been injured and it wasn't your fault and you have a legitimate claim for compensation, and you turn around and try to assert your legal right, and bang, you're basically being accused of fraud. Why? The insurance company is an for-profit business, and they're trying to save money for their shareholders, and unfortunately, there's no way to tell which claims are meritorious and which claims are exaggerated.
Yeah, I got to think there's so many scams out there that have like convoluted the whole industry that they go ahead and they go through the motions of trying to qualify the situation, just like any of us would, I imagine. And so that's a very good point. Well, what makes Levinson Law Group different from other personal injury law firms?
Well, before I answer, I want to go back to some of these do's and don'ts. You know, if you're making a claim, there's some common sense guidelines that should guide your actions. Number one, seek medical attention because you may be injured and at risk. And I'm always going to tell people and encourage them to go check themselves out in the ER. But assume you are going to be going basically to war against an insurance company, and you're going to be in basically an unfair scenario. You have to understand how insurance companies think. They have to assume everybody's committing fraud, and they have to build in like a fraud detecting system and proceed. I mean, wouldn't you, if you owned an insurance company, wouldn't you have systems in place to ferret out fraud? Of course
Definitely.
you would. Of course,
absolutely,
I would. So naturally, they do. So the smartest thing you can do is to behave like a truly injured person would behave. Promptly obtain medical attention. It does two things. It helps your body, but it also helps your case because it makes it look legit. And if it is legit, then you need to be treating with a doctor anyway. Now, people who are injured don't wait around for a month before they see a doctor, and so that kind of delay looks suspicious. It looks like you're talking to friends and family, and they're all encouraging you to go see a doctor and build up a claim. Well, that's what insurance companies think, and 99% of the time they're right. I mean, if you're hurt, you're injured, go to the doctor. Second, follow doctor's orders. If your doctor is recommending an MRI, go get the MRI. If your doctor refers you to a spine surgeon, go see a spine surgeon. People who are really injured follow their doctor's orders and make your medical appointments. Don't skip out and show a lack of commitment, because the insurance company will look at that and say, okay, that guy's not committed to his treatment, must not be injured. And it makes sense. It's logical. Most important, do not give a recorded statement to the insurance company. They always ask for a recorded statement, and I always tell my clients, look, if you get a call from the insurance company, just direct them to me. Do not give a recorded statement to the insurance company. They're just trying to make you say something that can come and bite you later. And then, yes, Mark.
Yeah, well, no, that's great point. And like you said, as far as acting responsibly and following the doctor's orders and doing the things that you would normally do if you had a case, that's what they're looking through, and they're trying to pick apart maybe what some of the inconsistencies are. And just like in anything, you just want to be a responsible individual. You want to be looking out for your own best interests. It's all about discipline. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I can see the importance of going through it.
Now, I got some other common sense advice, and this most people might not even consider. But in the days of social media that we're in right now,
good point.
If you are about to assert a bodily injury claim against an insurance company, do not be up there on Instagram, on Facebook, talking about the crash. Don't be saying anything about the crash. And there's some other things that you really ought not do, and you might not consider. And here's an example. Don't be posting about your athletic accomplishments. Like, here's a picture of me just running the marathon. Here's a picture of me and
jumping off a cliff with a twisted ankle.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a great point.
In the old days, the insurance companies used to send a private investigator with a video camera, and they used to lurk behind the tree. And
I remember on the news, this lady just filed a claim for X number of dollars, and then they see her out like playing ball with her, kids out front. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about, what differentiates the Levinson Law Group from other attorneys, and where you're located, how we become a client, and what some of the fee schedules are. And we look forward to that. We're getting back to Gordon Levinson from LevinsonLawGroup.com with some really good information of what you need to do if you've been involved with any kind of negligent driver who caused an accident that you've been involved in. And so I was just wondering, we'd gotten back to some of the things that you want to do and don't do. I know you said you had a couple more of those things you wanted to share with us. Please do.
Well, obviously, as we said in the last segment, the most important thing, get immediate medical attention. That's number one, because you might have life-threatening or dangerous injuries. So, take care of your health and safety and do that first. But now, what we were talking about before is, in the old days, insurance companies used to hire private investigators to sneak behind a tree and take a video of somebody
Yes.
playing golf or whatever when they claim they have a back injury. Well, now it's about Facebook and social media, and so the insurance company is going to be auditing every claimant's social media presence. So here's some good advice: if you're injured and claiming you're injured, don't be on Facebook posting about how you just ran a marathon or skied down a mountain or something like that. It's just not smart. But additionally, some other things that you may not think about, don't even show yourself like at Magic Mountain or Disneyland or something, because the inference is, here's somebody who says they have a whiplash injury, yet they're out there riding roller coasters or bungee jumping or whatever the case may be. So don't be posting stuff like that. Other stuff is, don't be posting like party guy or party girl shots, like here me and the bros, taking tequila shots. And why? What's so bad about that? I'll tell you why. Because in theory, your case may be headed for a jury trial one day, and jurors tend to be high-minded, moralistic, and if that in that kind of environment, if you're the plaintiff and then they show pictures of you and your bros taking shots in a bar or a bunch of girlfriends all at a bachelorette party or something, it just looks bad. So resist the temptation to be this social media holic, and if you have one of these claims, just put it on hiatus. Post about other people. Post about your kids. Make comments on other people's posts. Like way to go or good for you. You can do that. Try not to be me, and post all about yourself.
Absolutely. So, yes. Really good points there. You definitely don't want to expose yourself, or at least give the impression, because as we know, perception's everything. Perception's everything in everything we do. And you only get one chance to get out there and show what you got. It's very difficult to climb uphill when you've already dug a bit of a hole there for yourself. And so that's great advice to follow. And I was just curious, what makes Levinson Law Group different from other personal injury firms?
The main point of differentiation with my firm is that I used to work as an attorney for the largest insurance companies in North America. So, and now I'm using that background, that insider knowledge, that experience, and putting it on your side, the side of the wronged or injured victim against the insurance company. But I have that experience working the other side of the fence, and it's really valuable for my clients because they benefit from my training. But additionally, we are not your typical ambulance chaser kind of law firm. Our cases are all referred to us by clients, former clients, doctors, lawyers, even judges and court staff refer us cases. And that's a deep compliment to me. I feel that that's a sign that we are a firm with integrity. And our mission really is to make this community safer from texting, drinking, reckless drivers.
It's like an epidemic. I think
right.
You said it's the numbers are astounding at this point, and how texting and driving has taken over as one of the number one 16 to 18-year-old hazards or injury causing accidents.
No, it's terrible. And so my firm is committed to making this a safer community by taking a stand, fighting back against reckless drivers that cause harm.
Absolutely. So where's Levinson Law Group located? Where are you guys at?
We have offices in Carlsbad and Oceanside, but really we can represent you anywhere in the state. I mean, and if you live in San Francisco, Los Angeles, wherever you are, these cases are each one of them is kind of its own little world, and we will get on a plane and go to your house and make a house call and represent you in the appropriate case. That's not every case.
Yeah, I don't think the location makes a big difference. I mean, you're fortunate enough to live in San Diego.
I do prefer if on the first meeting the client comes to our main office, our Carlsbad facility, then they get a look at the facility, they get a look at the team, they get that feeling of confidence in us that we're not fly by night, and they see how the team interacts in our office, and they also kind of bond up with us. It's a good way to start the representation as a face-to-face. But once you've retained us, there's really no reason why you would have to drive back to Carlsbad at all. We can conduct the rest of the representation, by phone and email.
Absolutely. And so, I mean, you had said that you don't take every case, that you probe the situation, try and find out the validity of it. And so how does someone who's been involved in an accident, had injury from a negligent driver, become a client of Levinson Law Group?
Give us a call at our toll-free number. It's 1-866-643-HURT. That's 1-866-643-4878. Or go to levinsonlawgroup.com. That's levinsonlawgroup.com. Or simply Google us. Google Levinson Law Group. That's the fastest way. The website pops up and you can contact us.
Great. And so if I've been in an injury and you elect to take on the case, what's it going to cost me? What do you charge for your services?
We charge a contingent fee. That means that if we make no economic recovery in your case, you pay no fee.
Meaning economic recovery, meaning a settlement that comes in.
A settlement, a judgment, a positive, a win. We don't win your case, you don't pay us a dime. It's that simple. It's really no risk to the consumer.
That's great. This is Mark Schwartz, and you're listening to the Mark Schwartz Real Estate Radio Show. We were joined today by Gordon Levinson at levinsonlawgroup.com. That's levinsonlawgroup.com. Go to his website and read about why judges are hiring him, attorneys are referring him business, and a little of the experience that he had. And just getting back to one last thing before we go to break, you mentioned about the party guy, the party girl, and the influence it has on juries. I'm sure you're familiar with that NASCAR crash where I think was it Tony Stewart and Kevin Ward got ran over and killed. They had a little bit of an accident, and he was angry and got up and ran, in speeding cars passing in front, by him, and it was an unfortunate accident, but it's come out that he had marijuana in his blood, and they're going to tear that apart. So here's a guy that has marijuana in his bloodstream. It jumps out of a car onto a racetrack with speeding cars flying by in an angry moment, and it was a judgment. And what were your thoughts about that when you heard that?
Well, first of all, my thoughts and prayers go out to the the decedent's family, and it's just terrible. But your basic point is correct, and that is that in a jury trial environment, you want to have your nose clean. You don't want to have skeletons in your closet. If you got a bunch of shots of you on Facebook and Instagram with the bros or the sisters, and you're out there, taking shots of tequila or whatever, what have you, in a party scenario. It just looks bad, and so take the time, audit your social media presence, clean it up, keep it rated G.
Love it. Thanks again to Gordon Levinson. That's levinsonlawgroup.com. If anything he said sits with you, if you have a story like that, or if you've been involved in any kind of an injury collision with a negligent driver, we're talking drinking, texting, reading, reaching over the seat, playing with the dog, sending an email. I mean, any of those qualify.
Don't do it.
Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Just don't do it.